Is Viganò receiving any support or feedback from other princes of the church, from cardinals or archbishops? We have to make a clarification. Viganò is not a cardinal. Viganò is an archbishop. So the College of Cardinals contains a group that is more sort of regarded as conservative, traditional. People would would disagree on precisely where to place people, and there can be discussions about that. But Cardinal Sarah from West Africa, with whom I have spoken many times, and who has expressed his love of the church, and he is regarded as a person who wants to fight against this kind of consumeristic, materialistic culture, and so he's regarded for those reasons as a conservative. And he's been in touch with Viganò, and they did, however, have a small um, confusing disagreement at the time when Viganò issued a statement on the appeal to the world regarding the coronavirus as some sort of a mechanism to move towards a global order that would have greater control of travel and of people's lives. That appeal came out in May. Sarah and Viganò had spoken about Sarah signing it, and then Sarah either called or texted and says, I'm taking back, in my position as cardinal, I don't think I can sign it. And Viganò had just pressed the button, I think an hour earlier, and sent it out with his signature. So he withdrew, but he said he didn't insert it without having had the cardinal's approval. It was that the cardinal had changed his mind. Um, Cardinal Muller, former head of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, very close to Pope Benedict, is, I don't know if they are in contact, but they read certainly. Viganò on his computer is capable of reading what we are all capable of reading and peering in. And because of his languages and because of translation, he can see what's appearing in Italy, what's appearing in France and Germany and Spain and in the United States, Canada, etc. He has a capacious mind and a work ethic. So he's following things. People also are sending, a lot of journalists now have gotten into contact with him in the past year, and they send things or ask questions or note things to him. He's particularly close to Aldo Maria Valli, a journalist in Rome, who from Milan, who used to be a leading correspondent for the Italian television agency RAI, and then started to raise questions about certain issues in this pontificate and lost his job. But he's friendly with Viganò. Viganò had come to him just before he published his testimony and spoken with him, had dinner at his house. And Valli is a quite impressive Italian journalist. And Marco Tossati, whom I knew already in the 1980s when we were in the press office in Rome as young guys together. And he had a career in the Vatican journalism and writing for different Italian papers. Now he has his own blog, and Stilum Curiae, Marco Tossati, and he is someone who can receive a text that Archbishop Viganò will email to him, publish it, and he now also puts it quickly into English if it's in Italian, and also into Spanish. And there's contact with some of the American Catholics, like LifeSite News, The Remnant with Michael Matt. Viganò actually was invited, and on one occasion in the past year appeared in public in Munich, Germany. He kind of parachuted in and covered himself in a winter coat, and he only had this much of his face showing. But somebody recognized him as he stood with about 200 people in front of in a square in Munich, in front of the bishops of Germany, to protest their proposed synodal path, which is going to revisit the question of married priests, women priests, and other questions of sexual morality and marriage. And he stood with 100 or 200 people in the back, and somebody, I think from Gloria TV, noticed him and came over and took a picture of him. You can find that on the internet. And on that occasion, he also met with Michael Matt and exchanged, Michael was there, and they exchanged emails. And so he's been in touch since then, and with Taylor Marshall, and with a kind of group of more traditional Catholic journalists in Italy, in Spain, in Portugal, in the United States, are able to be in contact. The other cardinals, a cardinal from Holland, 8, is regarded, because he's taken a strong stand against the so-called gender ideology, which speaks of the fluidity of our gender and calls for a recognition that these are socially imposed sexual roles, to be a man or to be a woman or to be a father or a mother. And this is becoming increasingly prominent in our culture, to the point where people like Joe Rogan on his 100 million video podcast, have started to say it's causing a rippling series of effects on dozens and hundreds and now thousands of young people who want to change from being a girl to a boy or a boy to a girl. Mostly it's girls to boys. And this Cardinal Ait in Holland has opposed this. He said, this is terrible. This confusion at the center of a human identity is harmful. And he has been sharply criticized for that by more progressive people. But he is interested in Viganò's career and what Viganò has been saying about the challenges to the faith. And then there's an old cardinal, 90 years old now, Brand Muller, who he's like a brain on top of a small and aging body. He's super smart. And he was probably the greatest historian we've had, a Catholic historian of the Reformation. Pope Benedict liked him because he was a professor, and he made him a cardinal. Brad Muller now lives in Rome next to St. Peter's Basilica. He's been even slightly critical of Benedict, who made him a cardinal. He said, Benedict, perhaps you shouldn't have resigned, or you should have made clearer why and what you were doing. And Brandmuller has expressed concern about certain theological trends in this pontificate, which echo some of the things Viganò has said. So in this way, there's 3, 4, 5 cardinals that have expressed some interest or seem to dovetail in their concerns, but it doesn't, to my knowledge, it doesn't extend much beyond that. So we are speaking of a small group.